Hi, I'm Dr. Stuart Stoffern. I'm the Executive Director of Nebraska Transition College, and this is going to be a short video on our new student orientation. And so, like I said, new student orientation, meaning what we're going to be doing is giving you just a short video on kind of what to expect this quarter. And then this summer, we're planning a longer student orientation with students who have joined us over the past year. We're doing this way right now just because our registration was a little bit tight this year. We extended it for different reasons, and the turnaround is a little tight. But we didn't want to leave you hanging, and we wanted to give you some information. And so we're using this venue. So hopefully this will be just a short little video to kind of get you ready for classes that start this week. So introductions, kind of told you who I am. I'm the Executive Director, Dr. Stuart Stoffern. And our mission of Nebraska Transition College is to empower individuals with autism and other disabilities to learn, work, and live within our communities. Pretty short and succinct. Our vision is sort of a bigger look at that mission. So how do we, what are we looking like 5, 10, 15 years down the road? And the big vision here is to develop a pathway for freedom to experience your full potential. And that means the power of choice. And so that's what we want to do, is to work with you, our students, to achieve your goals, the goals that you set out, and short-term, long-term, and work in a way that you can accomplish those in a time frame that you dictate. So that's kind of how we do it. Our curriculum is divided up. If you haven't had a chance to look on our website, I encourage you to do that. Our website, nebraskatransitioncollege.org, has our complete catalog out there. If you go into prospective students, you can see lots of stuff, but you'll see our complete catalog. And it lists our courses under curricular themes. And these are those themes. There are 6 of them. And not every theme has the same number of courses. You'll notice that when you see the catalog. And that's on purpose, because we focus on 3 bigger ones, and that is the social relationships, residential living, and community navigation. And we get into the pre-vocational wellness and civic responsibility sort of on the latter end. But I encourage you to go out and look at all of those courses, read about all of them. Our courses are divided up into 2 big chunks. Now that isn't really listed in the catalog, but the 2 big chunks are our classroom experience, and those are 20 courses. And if you were to take 3 every quarter, you'd kind of go through those over a course of 2 years. And then the third one is, the second part of our curriculum is the residential piece, or the practice, the practicum. And the residential piece is 10 courses, and those courses are to be taken while you're living in an apartment with roommates. And so those first 20 courses are your time to kind of build that foundation on getting ready to live in an apartment. And then the second part, or the practicum, is actually to practice those skills and live in an apartment with a roommate. And so if you go out to our website, you'll see our residential pilot program tab, and it talks about that practicum piece in detail. There's a video out there, and I encourage you to look at it. And so that's how our curriculum is divided up. Starting one of the classes starts this week, but our quarter starts this week, starts tomorrow actually. And we have 3 courses that start this quarter. 2 of them are in the wellness curriculum theme, and some students have signed up for all 3. Some have just signed up for 1 or 2. And here's the other one. So I just didn't want you to think we forgot about it. So wellness has 2 courses, and here are your instructors and when they meet. So you'll notice that Unlocking Your Best Self, if you've signed up for that, you start this week. You start day after tomorrow on Wednesday, March 17th, and it goes to June 2nd. We meet on Wednesdays from 12:30 to 2 Central Daylight Time. Keep that in mind for those folks who are in Western Nebraska and also in California. You, California, you're 2 hours earlier. Western Nebraska, you're 1 hour earlier. So 12:30 for us means 10:30 for you in California, and 11:30 for those in Western Nebraska who are in that mountain time zone. So keep that in mind. Technology safety, your instructor there is Jennifer Fowler, and you meet on Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Keep that in mind. So 3:30 for those in California, 4:30 in Mountain Time. We don't have any students from Eastern Time yet, so we don't have to worry about that. And you will start March 23rd. So that's next week. For those who have signed up for Money Matters, your instructor again, Jesse Sandberg, and you'll meet Mondays, but not today, which is the time we're doing the video. It is March 15th. So you will meet Monday, March 22nd, and that'll be your start. And you'll go through June 7th. And note, there is no class on the 31st. And keep in mind, again, we're talking about Central Daylight Time for those who are signed up for Money Matters and all courses, really. And that is our residential living theme. So this is the first step to that budgeting piece, Money Matters 1. Okay, so course information. So these are your instructors. They will be contacting you. If they haven't yet, they will be contacting you, via phone call or email, just to make sure that you have what you need and are ready to go. But here are your instructors' contact information. I encourage you to email them if you have not heard from them, just to make contact. And again, class participation is very, very, very important. And if you cannot make it, please make sure you let your instructor know no later than 2 hours prior to the start of class. More time is better. Sometimes you can't know that though, right? Some emergency happens. Just make sure that you inform your instructor as soon as you possibly can. And we talk about this at the end of this presentation, but your first go-to are your instructors. They are your first contact information. So you go to them if you need anything. And if you can't get a hold of them, you can certainly contact me, but try them first. All of our information is going to be it's going to be presented via Google Docs. So it's paramount that you have access to Google Docs. And all that means is you just need to have internet access, and we'll take care of making sure that we get you hooked up to Google Docs. But that does mean typically that you're still going to have to set up an account on Google Docs through email. Again, if you are struggling a little bit with that, your contact is going to be your instructor. So they'll help get you through that. And that setup will take place prior to the class, or if you're still struggling, that first class. But if you know how to do that, please do get that set up, and your instructor will help you if you can't. Homework is, every week you'll be given some homework assignments for the following week. Here are some required items ready to have. required items to have ready. And we talked about the Google Docs signed into your email. And so these are some suggested items to have ready for homework. And, just on the side, as presentations are being made and class discussions are being had, it's always good to have a notebook and a paper, pens, pencils, to have those ready every time you are getting logged on for your Zoom class. And scratch paper, Post-it notes. Okay, so this is something that is something that, if you need to remind yourself, please do. Just imagine that you're attending class in person, and that kind of helps. Remember, we can see and hear everything in the vicinity of your camera. So you can see me right up here, and you can see behind me. And if anybody were to come in the room, you can see them enter even over here. And so it's just important that you are always aware of your environment that you're in. The best thing I can recommend is taking part in your Zoom classes on a laptop if you have it. Phone certainly works, but phones can be jiggly, and you get a lot of wiggling like this. It can really be distracting for other students and your instructor. So if you can be stable, that's the best. And remember, we can see and hear everything in your vicinity. And here are the expectations. And again, it's just imagining that you are in person, right? You're in view of the screen, you're sitting at a table or desk, no distractions, and preferably no eating. And you saw me take a drink of my coffee. That's to make sure that I don't, my mouth isn't so dry that I can't keep talking. So, but certainly if you need to drink water, please do that. You could do that certainly in class as well. Zoom etiquette. So these are the things that are best practices for Zoom etiquette. So we can tell if you're doing other things on your computer. So, or if your phone, texting, we can see movements, and it's just not the best thing to be distracted while you're on our Zoom classroom. You wouldn't do that if you're sitting in class, texting on your phone or doing other activities. So we encourage you not to do that while you're taking part in Zoom classrooms. Again, we prefer you just to be sitting at attention, but not attention, just with attention to your Zoom classroom, because others can be distracted by you moving around the room or any other gestures that might be distracting. Noise, right? So there are ways to get around this. So if your dog is barking, you just have to hit your mute button. I'll do that right now. And of course you can't hear me talking, right? So just use that mute button as you need to. If you have to cough, use your mute button. Presenting yourself, make sure, how would you like to be presented? So I am presenting myself this morning, ready to go for class, and whatever that means for you. For me, it means having a nice shirt on, hair is combed, and I'm ready to go, right? And you be proud of the fact that you're an NTC student, right? How do you want to present yourself in class? It's the same way you present yourself on Zoom. And yes, so this goes to speak to, no photos of others in the class. Not everybody likes to have their phone or their photo taken. And so those sorts of things are not permitted, and posting on social media is not permitted because you have to get permission for others to do that. So please don't take photos. And so there are lots of cool features on Zoom if you have not yet had a chance to take part in a Zoom class. You can change the way your picture is by adjusting your screen. Make sure that you use your mute button if you need to. Video, you can stop your video if you need to. I can't, I'm sharing mine right now, but if you need to stop the video for whatever reason, you can do that. Chat and reactions. All of those features you're going to be going over in your classroom, but it's good to know these. So, when you get access to Zoom, just practice some of those. The reactions are kind of cool too, right? You can clap your hand, you can, have a party or whatever. Okay, so to get ready for your instruction, again, make sure that you have an account and access to Google Docs, an account to access Google Docs. Again, if you're struggling with that, just reach out to your instructor. They'll make sure that you get all ready. You've got a device that can connect to audio and video for Zoom. Practice that a little bit. Log on to Zoom. Anybody can log on to Zoom, and anybody can have an account. If you want to try that, practice that, you certainly can. And it's very vitally important that your email is checked. I like to check mine every day, right? And so if your instructor needs to contact you, check it at the same time every day. So if it's at noon every day or 5 p.m. every day, whatever, you can check it more than once a day, but at least check it once a day to make sure that you're up to date on everything in your class, assignments and feedback. And make sure that you do contact your instructor in advance if you're going to be gone from class. Remember, we talked about that before. It's 2 hours at least, but more time is better if you know. And of course, for classroom protocol, we don't have any right now because we are not meeting in person, so there's no need to worry about COVID when we have Zoom classes. And cancellation information, you know, if for some reason instructor cannot make it to course, all of this will be communicated to you, right? So we'll make sure that we let you know just as soon as we can. For some reason, again, remember your classroom instructor is the first go-to, and if for some reason you can't get a hold of them, make sure you contact me, and I'm happy to answer your questions. I'm going to be sending you a code of conduct and a photo release, and code of conduct is just a document that kind of explains a little bit about the expectations of you as an NTC student. And the photo release, that's for folks who are willing to allow us to use your photo on our Facebook page and on our newsletters and so on. Not everybody, if you're not comfortable signing the photo release, you don't have to, but I'll email those to you and I'll follow up with you. The student code of conduct does need to be signed and released, and sent back to me, but the photo release does not have to be. So I'll explain that to you in an email that I'll send to you. And I do need to have those signed and returned. The code of conduct, yes, for sure, has to be, and then the photo release is up to you. So your information, your email, phone number is going to be kept confidential. You know, so when we send out emails, I usually, and I have made a mistake in the past, and please forgive me that I've, you know, copied in all of emails in the send email box instead of the BCC, the blind copy. So I'll make sure I do my best on that. But it is important that if you share your email and phone number, that is your decision. It's not others' decision to share it. Okay, so if you have someone's phone number and email address, if someone asks you for it, that's not your decision and you should not be sharing it. We've had this happen in the past. That's why we have this, to make sure that, you know, students understand that that's an important confidentiality. So make sure that you respect your fellow students and classmates, and not share others' information. If you have any questions, remember, the first thing to do is to contact your instructor. And if for some reason you can't get a hold of them, you can always contact me. And here's my contact information, email, and Google Voice. And so please don't hesitate to reach out to me if you cannot get a hold of them. This is just, like I said, a short video to explain a little bit about and to help you prepare for your classes this week and next week if your class starts next week. If you need anything, reach out to your instructor, me. We're happy to answer any of those questions, and we're very excited to have you with us. And I apologize again for the short turnaround for our new quarter, and watch for a more formal student orientation to take place over the summer. Thank you very much, everyone, and we can't wait to see you in class. All right. Bye-bye.